We're going to change in a drive belt on a 2020 Skidoo Expedition. Step, you're going to open the side cover on the left side. There's a latch at the top and a latch at the bottom. A little plastic nub that sits inside of the cover. You lift that off. The next step, so you're going to pull out the pin that keeps the cover in place over top of the belt. When you remove this, there's a small pin up at the top here that you can see. It's this piece here that goes through this hole. You have to lift up. Down at the front end here, you need to rotate this whole cover assembly like this, because this piece here hooks through this hole on the left there. You cannot get it off without rotating it. Inside of the little tool case, you have the tools you need for doing the job. This is the tool that you're going to use to take the tension off of your secondary clutch so you can pull the belt off. When you're doing this in the field, you're going to want to place your cover upright, something like that, and dump your tools out in there so you don't lose them. On the secondary clutch, that's this one, there's a hole right there that's threaded on the inside. You're going to take your tool and insert the threaded end into the hole, and you're going to screw it in all the way. When you're screwing it in, what it's doing is it's releasing the tension between these two jaws and allowing that belt to fall lower down. That's going to get you the clearance you need to pull it off the primary clutch. So you can see as I'm screwing in, this whole piece here is moving in. That's attached to this piece, and that's what's getting me the clearance. When you're doing this, don't place your fingers in here, and don't place your fingers in here. The reason for that is all the spring tension is on these tiny little threads, and if that lets go and your fingers in there, it's going to hurt a lot. Same deal for in here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the belt and I'm going to pull it off the secondary clutch like that. Then I'm going to pull it off the primary clutch like that, and the belt is off. When you have your new belt, you're going to turn it and you're going to see these rotation arrows. Those are the direction that the belt is supposed to spin. Ignore this little arrow. When the motor is spinning, it's spinning this way, which makes this spin this way, which makes the track spin this way. If you ever get confused, just grab your secondary clutch and spin it a little bit and see which way the sled goes. That'll let you figure out real quick which way this is going to go on. Put your new belt on, just undo the steps you did to take it off. That means you're going to slip it onto your primary clutch, and you're going to slip it onto your secondary clutch, just like that. Trick to make it quicker to take this tool out. You see how right now these jaws in the secondary clutch are biting onto the belt? That means when I unscrew this, there's no load on my tool. That means it's really quick to take out. I've got my new belt in place now. It's not ready to drive yet. If I were to start it now, that's going to put a lot of wear on my belt, especially because it's a new belt. I don't want to do that. What I want to do instead is work this belt up so that it's in first gear when I start. To do that, you might have to turn your secondary clutch a little bit. You might have to work that belt around. It's a two-handed job, but you want to have this belt as high up to the outside edge as you can so that when the primary clutch spins, it's got lots of mechanical advantage to spin your secondary clutch. This is how it should look once it's back on. You can see that there is almost no gap between the belt and the edge of those flanges. I've put my tools away back in their little bag and I've bungeed them in place. I'm going to put this cover back on by putting these holes over top of these little nubs down here first. It's way easier with two hands. Anyway, once those are on, that little black plastic finger there goes through the hole. And then finally, there's a pin that will go through these holes here like that. So to recap, nubs go in first, second nub goes through hole, pin goes in, and your clutch cover's back on. Here's your side cover. You want to make sure that it latches over top of this little bump here. This plastic nub goes in, and do up all your bungees. Now your belt's changed.